Good morning, everybody, and thanks for signing in and joining us this morning. My name is Rita Al, and I served this past year on the YLD Overseas Engagement Committee and was lucky to be one of the Lehava co-chairs. I'm so excited to have you all here for our final of 3 one-click trips presented by YLD and our community shlicha, Lior Gersht. And before we continue, I just wanted to share my story, how I got involved in the Jewish community and how my family ultimately ended up in Cleveland. So we moved to Cleveland when I was 6 months old. So we about 29 years ago. My dad and my mom are from Belarus. And when my dad was about 12 years old, his family went to the US Embassy and they were taking interested people who wanted to move to the US and get signed up. So my dad and his whole family went to the embassy and wrote all their names down. They were interested in immigrating to the US. After my parents got married in 1990, my dad got an invitation to come to the US. So me as a baby, my mom, my dad, we all took a trip actually over to Moscow to get my mom signed up and myself signed up to go to the US. So my mom, myself, and my dad, my aunt, my cousins were lucky enough to be sponsored by the Cleveland Jewish community. So we made our roots here in Cleveland, along with my aunt and my cousins. And my mom's side of the family actually moved to Israel. So they're all in Israel right now. We're very lucky that we were able to move to Cleveland. My family built a great life here. And pretty much everything that they wanted for their kids and growing up and everything like that we tried to achieve for them. Because my family, they weren't really allowed to practice Judaism, or not so much weren't allowed to, but it was kind of under wraps. It was very important to them when we moved to Cleveland that we got a Jewish education and we're proud of who we were. So that's a little bit about my background and a little story about me. And to begin this whole program, we want to hear from all of you. So whoever's brave enough to unmute themselves, if you can just tell us your name and why you joined today's session. We have to have one brave soul.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I could show my video, but I'm in the car and I just worked out, so sorry I'm late. But I wanted to join because, for many reasons, I'm interested to hear more about the lives of young professionals in St. Petersburg. And yeah.
Thanks, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Mariana. I just spent 4 months studying in Moscow, and so definitely wanted to hear more about Jewish life, because for 4 months I got to experience Jewish life in Russia, but that was also as an American visiting and being welcomed, and so wanted to learn more.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joanne. I grew up in Cleveland, but I used to work with Lehava at Federation, and it's really exciting to see Masha and Monica on the screen, since I saw them a couple of years ago when they were here, and wanted to learn more about what their daily lives are like.
That was great. Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourselves. And again, thank you, everybody, for being here with us today. YLD is committed to helping connect Jewish young adults in Cleveland with the work of the Jewish Federation of Cleveland that we do overseas in Israel, St. Petersburg, and beyond. We do this in a variety of ways. One way we do this is through events we put on. We put on numerous events throughout the year. One of our most meaningful programs is Lehava. Lehava is a program for young Jewish adults in St. Petersburg, Russia, where we as young Jewish adults in Cleveland get to learn from them and develop meaningful relationships. In normal times, the participants come to Cleveland. We hope to see you at the event and future events and continue learning about our work. To help us succeed in our work, the Overseas Engagement Committee is fortunate to have hand in hand with the Overseas Department and the Federation. I'm going to turn it over to Elenit, who is the manager of our Overseas Department, who will speak more about its work and the connection with Russia.
Hi, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon in St. Petersburg. So it's nice to see some familiar faces. And I'm really glad to have everyone who joined us. It's so unique that people like volunteer their Sunday morning to be on a Zoom. So really, thank you. I just want to start by saying that I think one of the most remarkable things about being Jewish is that you are really part of the Jewish people. And it's often incredibly random. Like Rita, I thought your story was beautiful because it's completely random sometimes where people end up, right? Your mother's family's in Israel, your father's family's here. I have parts of my family who stayed in Israel, parts of my family who met after the war, moved to Europe and are in Switzerland. And I think part of being Jewish is recognizing that, right, like you're today in Cleveland, but you could have been in St. Petersburg, in Moscow, in Belarus, in Germany, in Australia. Like where we end up, right, is not always in our control. But what is in our control is that we are really one Jewish people. And we have a lot of shared language, shared culture. And I think one of the things we really strive to do at the Overseas Department at the Federation is really connect Jews with Jews overseas. Because I think what often happens, especially when politics gets involved, and the politics between Russia and the United States is always complicated, is that we try and break down barriers and let people meet each other because we have much more in common by far than we do not in common. And we at the Federation, our Cleveland Jewish community is really privileged that we have so many Jews from the whole former Soviet Union who moved to Cleveland. I think we are the second largest Jewish community made up of Jews from the former Soviet Union outside of Brooklyn. So we have a lot of rich Jewish heritage within our own community. And 25 years ago, or actually 23 years ago, we were offered to adopt Jewish communities overseas. And we adopted 2 communities, one in Israel, which is in Beit Shan and Emek Ma'ayanot, and one in Russia, which is in St. Petersburg. And I always felt that we got such a gift to be twinned with St. Petersburg, because it is by far the most beautiful city, I think, in the whole world, and has the most beautiful people. And I think what really makes the St. Petersburg community so unique is its young adults. And we have invested at our federation in helping build really programs for young adults so that young adults can choose and create their own Jewish destiny. And I know some of the people on this call today, and they are just so impressive. So I'm really excited you get to hear from them. And I would say to anybody in Cleveland, whenever you have the opportunity, and you're already quite unique that you're on Zoom, but whenever you have the opportunity, we host a whole variety of ways to connect with young people in Israel, in the former Soviet Union, and I hope we're just going to expand that. And I really feel like once people start getting involved, we all gain, everybody, and we learn a lot from each other. So I am going to go back and turn it over back to you, Rita, so we can get to the main show. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing. I really enjoyed the part where you spoke about that we're all connected. We're all one Jewish people. And just a little anecdotal story. So obviously my family's Russian. My husband is not, he's American. but just, we have cultural differences, but the fact that, we're all Jewish, we all kind of grew up with the same culture, even though he grew up with it here in the States. We grew up with it in the Soviet Union. That really spoke to me. So thank you for sharing that. So before we go ahead and introduce today's speakers, we wanted to get everyone moving, or as much movement as we can on Zoom, and have a fun trivia game. And I would like to introduce Masha, who will lead us in the trivia game.
Yes, hi, my name is Masha. I'd like to share my little quiz that I prepared for you for this meeting. If you are ready, if you agree, I'll be happy to show you. It's really quick quiz Kahoot with 5 questions. Let's play. If you agree, yes, no. I will demonstrate my screen and we will play right now. Yes. Okay, you see the number of Kahoot game. You have to go to the site kahoot.it and put 1370182 to this site. And we will continue. Madi, Lior, welcome to our game. We will waiting for just 1 or 1 minute for you to. Henry, Jack, welcome to our game. Simon, we will play in several minutes. I think how many people we are waiting for? Or
I'm just finishing signing on now.
Rita, please help me. How many people we are waiting, or we are starting right now?
We can start.
I think you can start.
Yeah.
Okay, we will start. And the first question right now. It's our meeting. Date 3, 2, 1, and St. Petersburg has several names. What is fake? Cultural capital, North Venice, White Night City, or Petersburg?
Masha, we can't see the game itself.
No, you didn't see it? What do you see?
We see the Kahoot. Now we see it. Now we see it. Okay.
Now it works.
Yes. Let's
Start again.
this question.
Just went away.
Let's skip this question. It doesn't matter. I think you know that Petersburg is fake name of St. Petersburg, but the second one, do you see?
Yeah.
What is not true about St. Petersburg? There live more than 5 million people, has the deepest subway in the world, fast and noisy city, and I didn't see the fourth question. And 2 answers I see. Okay. Not true, it's fast and noisy city. Please answer the questions. I see not everybody.
I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but I still see the first question.
I still see it
Can
too.
we start again? Because
So let's start again
yes,
on the top.
From beginning.
yes.
Would you mind?
Okay. Okay, we can skip this game at all. I think it's a little game for our fun. It's not so.
You can still read out the questions.
Do you see number? Do you see screen? Rita, I didn't.
Yeah, I just see the joining screen. But now we need a pin. I think it's loading. Oh, here
Maybe we close this game and I will prepare it next time. Maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to try to stop sharing and share it again one last time and see if it works?
Let's try.
Try to stop share
Yeah,
and
let's
then
try
share it again.
refreshing. And if it doesn't work, you could just read out the questions yourself and we could answer them.
Great idea.
It's not. It's so interesting.
I think it looks awesome. So we should do it. Okay.
Guys, sorry, but maybe. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Now we see it. Now we see
Yeah.
it.
Players, Masha. Again.
It's not so funny that I think it will be. Thank you for joining us. Let's play. Or maybe we are waiting for a little bit. Let's start. Rita, do you agree?
I agree.
Do you see the question?
That's
And-
still loading.
No.
And answers?
No.
No.
No?
So read out the first question.
Just waiting
Read
on the players page.
What?
We
Wait
can see
for
it.
players.
It's
First-
stuck.
Yes, first page.
Masha, just read out the questions, like question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can just.
I think we can forget about it. It doesn't matter. It's okay. I will be okay with it. I can share this game with you when you will be ready and my screen will be ready. Your screen.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. Maybe we can do it at the end.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So right now we'll jump in and hear from our 4 incredible young Jewish adults that are here with us today. And I'll share a brief introduction for each of them before they share their story with us. So our first speaker will be Simon. Simon was born and raised on the north side of Russia, and he lived there for the first 17 years of his life. And his family never talked about nationality and was taught that he should keep it quiet. His grandma and dad were taught the same when they were growing up. It was their only Jewish tradition in his home city. He had never met a Jewish person other than his family. After graduating from high school, he moved to St. Petersburg, where he studied at university. At the end of January 2016, he was given the opportunity to visit Israel and get to know the country we came from. So together with his older brother, he went on this adventure. After getting to know the country, he learned about birthright. A great memory from his trip was he celebrated his first Shabbat. That was when he began his journey to be part of the St. Petersburg Jewish community. And in 2020, he finished the Lihava program. He found good people and friends. He understood himself better as well. He became more familiar with Jewish culture. And most importantly to him, he accepted himself as a Jewish human being. Please help me in welcoming Simon share his story with us.
Hey everyone, thanks Rita. But that was pretty much full bio of mine, and right now I don't even know what to say else. But I prepared a presentation with some screenshots, and I think it will be nice to see that. And right now with me, my cat, who's laying up next to me and sleeping. Another person that I brought from my hometown, and I would share my screen with the presentation. So I didn't want to talk about this bio because I think it's already said, and I think it's pretty formal. The main thing about my story is how hard it was for me to accept that I am Jewish, and to get to know this, I want to share a bit of history. First thing is that I was growing up in a small city. It's placed right here on the north side of Russia. And if you zoom in a little bit, it will be something like this. And St. Petersburg is here. As Wikipedia said, there is something like 97,000 of people living in, I guess, right here. So it's normal to not knowing any other Jewish person in there. And there is also our Russian past with the Soviet Union. Rita already told a little bit about it. And the hardest thing, I guess, for me is the thing that there was anti-Semitism in Soviet Union, and also there was a nationality graph in the passport. So if you are Jewish, everyone in a country knows that you are Jewish. There is no private estate or something like that. Everything that belongs to the government. So if government knows that you are Jewish, basically everyone knows it. And after 30 years plus, we still don't talk a lot about it, because if you were Jewish in the Soviet Union, it would be hard for you to live, just to live, to work, to get promotion at your job and everything like that. So my father has Ukrainian roots also, and at his passport there was no Jewish. It said that he's Ukrainian, and it helps him a lot in terms of going to the college and learn there, because if he were Jewish, then he wouldn't have such an option to go to college and have some sort of degree. And till 17, I really don't paid much attention to my Jewish roots. It was just a thing that I laughed about sometimes. And I guess that was it. At the age of 19, I first heard about Taglit birthright, and I said, why not? Like, why can't I just give it a try, have a trip to Israel and learn something more about Jewish culture? At that time, I really didn't know what Shabbat means, and other things were just kind of strange for me. After that, I joined, and actually it was a good experience, and there was also a hard part in it, because after that I guess I was close to a Jewish community for a few years, because I fell out in my thoughts about it, and I was, I'm not saying that I was depressed by it, I just couldn't accept it at that time. And 1.5 years ago, I joined Lehava to give it a second shot. And I met a lot of amazing people out there. And this program really changed my life at that point of time. And right now, I'm just starting to learn a bit more about Jewish community by myself. And it's time for me to give back something to the community, learn about other people's stories overseas, and just being a part of it. Yep. And that's all for me and for my presentation. I will stop demonstration right now.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. While I was listening to everything that you were saying, I was comparing it to like a Jewish life for a young adult in Cleveland, and it's just, starkly different. I know that when I was growing up, my dad would always tell me stories like how in his passport it would say, he was Jewish, so everything was a lot harder for him getting into college, getting into the programs he wanted. It's just, it's wild to me for me to even think about. But you know, we have each other, we have this connection, and we're here today to talk about how we grew up and different things like that, and know that we're all part of the community. So thank you so much for sharing that. Our next speaker is Monica. Monica is 26 years old and has worked for the Jewish Agency in St. Petersburg since 2014. She's an active member of the city's Jewish community. She has been a participant in youth leadership programs and a counselor in Jewish camps. Currently, she is a part of several initiative groups that implement various that implements various projects for Jewish young adults in St. Petersburg. For the first campaign in St. Petersburg Knesset, Game Project, Star Plus Project. Please help me in welcoming Monica share her story.
Yes. Hi, guys. Is everything okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Hi, guys. Hello, everyone. My name is Monica, and I am a member of the Jewish community here in St. Petersburg. And I was born in St. Petersburg, and all my life I had lived in this beautiful city. And also all my life I had known my Jewish roots. But knowing something and do something are completely different things. My mom's side family, all are Jewish, and my father's side family is Georgian. My father was born in Georgia and lives in Georgia today. Part of my family moved to Israel. This is my grandpa, and he moved to Israel almost 30 years ago. And this is my grandma, and she was our connection with Jewish community and Judaism. And my grandma, she cooked Jewish dishes, or she spoke Yiddish, or she received some help from Hesed. And my grandma passed away 20 years ago, and we lost our connection with the community. This is how I remember. I asked my mom before our meeting, and she said that sometimes people from when I was young, some people from community called us and even sent me some gifts for holidays. And I remember that every year we had a calendar that we sent from synagogue. And now we also have such a calendar. I don't really remember my childhood or my first Jewish experience, but I remember in 2005, when I was 10, my mom sent me to the camp, Jewish camp. And it was my first camp and my last camp in my life as a participant. It was a summer and vacation, and my mom wanted to keep me busy with something interesting. For her, it didn't make much difference between Jewish camp or just camp in the city. And it was difficult for me. I was in this camp only 5 days because for a child who knew nothing about Judaism, it was really tough. And camp was for girls. It was religious. It was for 21 days. And I asked my mom to pick me up. And I understand now the camp was most likely awesome. I just was not ready for this camp. And my first step on my own was much, much later, when I was 20. And my best friend Karen, she's also Jewish, and we know each other from kindergarten. And she invited me to young adults project in synagogue. And this was my first step in the community here in St. Petersburg. And we celebrate holidays together. We travel together. This is our Purim, and this is our trip to Paris. And we study together. And after that, I felt that I had found my place. This is some pictures. we volunteer together. My grandma never hid that she was Jewish. She was proud of this. My mom also always knew that she was Jewish, but she did not hide it, but she didn't say it. And she's one of these people who don't tell anyone that they are Jewish, but look out for Jewish names in the credits after the film or movie. And coming to this young adults project, I found the people like me, and we created our small community. And after that, I began to move in the Jewish community to see what kind of organization they are and what they do. I went to Taglit and became the counselor of Taglit, and this is my first group of Taglit. I became a counselor of Jewish agency, and actually now, like Rita said, I work in Jewish agency in Aliyah department. It's my full-time job. This is our Sunday schools or our camps. This is Natasha with me. We counselors together. And now I help people to soft integrate in Israeli society. I work in Aliyah department. I have been member in several projects like Lichava program. This is me, Natasha here too. And now I have several projects of my own. Together with Natasha, we organizing our own project. It's called the Knesset game. It's is a model of political games, like a model of the United Nations, only about the Israeli parliament, the Knesset. This is my different project in community. I'm a little embarrassed and confused to say so much about myself, as if to say, hi, hello guys, I'm Monica and I'm very, very activist in Jewish community here in St. Petersburg. I just want to say that in most families, parents teach their children some kind of knowledge or tradition. In my family, in our family, my mom and I, we just switch the roles. And as soon as I learn something new about who I am, about our history, I share this with her. And now I'm pleased to realize that my mom, not like me, but also participate in Jewish life here in St. Petersburg. We light candles together, we volunteer together, we spend some time in synagogue or celebrate holidays together. And knowing that before, my mom, when she was younger, she never talked about her Jewish roots. Now she does not hide it all. And now I'm pleased to realize that 6 years later, from my first step to Young Adults program, I clearly feel in my place, and I am glad to be kind of guide or something and help my mom on her way. This is my little story about my Jewish experience, just a small part, and thank you for your attention.
Monica, thank you for sharing that. It takes a really special person to kind of lead the way and help others connect to their Judaism and learn more about their Judaism. So I really appreciate you sharing that story with us. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Natasha. Natasha is 26 years old, and she's an active member of the Jewish community of St. Petersburg and is very involved in Jewish life of the city. She's a counselor in Jewish camps and also took part in youth Jewish programs such as Taglit and Lehava. She also has her own Jewish project, the Knesset game. It's an intellectual game for young adults that helps them to learn about Israel and about Knesset and teaches speaking, debate, teamwork, leadership abilities. And please help me welcoming Natasha to share a story.
Hi to everyone. My name is Natasha. And now I live in St. Petersburg, but I was born in Moldova. And when I was 6 years old, my parents told me that my grandfather was Jew. And since then, I began to spend a lot of time in Jewish community. I went to Sunday school, and I spent a lot of time with another Jewish children, learning traditions, learning different Jewish holidays, traveling. We went to synagogue, and I also was a participant of some Jewish camp, but unfortunately I have no pictures from this time because all of them are in Moldova. So it was really a great time for me. And when I was 15, my father moved to Israel. And then when I was 18, my mother also moved to Israel. But as for me, I decided that I want to become a jurist, and that's why I moved to St. Petersburg. So that's why I'm here. And from this time, I have some pictures, and I will show you my presentation. Wait for a second. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait for a second. Okay. So unfortunately, when I moved to St. Petersburg, I lost connection with the Jewish community. I'm not sure why actually, but I think that because of I was just 18 years old and I was alone in big city in another country without parents, and it was really difficult to find my place in this big city. But a few years later, Monica told me about opportunity to become a counselor in Jewish camp in Jewish agency. And I thought that it would be a great idea. I remembered that it was really great in my childhood to communicate with people in Jewish community. And then I began counselor of Jewish camps, and I'm counselor in Jewish camp now more than 4 years. And I will show a picture. It's Shabbat in my first summer camp in St. Petersburg here. And about our work as a counselor in Jewish camps, it's about organizing Jewish events and about studying with children about Jewish history and about Jewish traditions, and of course about different other things such as art, history, about science. And this is one of my favorite pictures because it's my favorite class about science for 10-year-old children, and it looks like serious Breaking Bad. That's why I like it very much. So it's also pictures from our summer camps, and it's a few pictures from online camp because of pandemic situation and so on. So it's also summer camps, and making shakshuka with Jewish children. So I'm sure that it's very important part of my life, and I will show you a few pictures of Shabbat. It's with our Lichava group, and it's also with Lichava group singing songs, and it's my home Shabbat, and few pictures from Jewish events with really wonderful atmosphere. And here, Masha is here on the picture with me. We are preparing donuts for Hanukkah. It was very nice. So it was also very exciting to take part in different Jewish programs for young adults, such as Taglit. And this is a picture from Jerusalem. All of us, all my Taglit group. And here is me with my new Israel friend, my friend Zlata and Camel, as you can see. So it's also my favorite photo from Taglit. So, and another one from Taglit. And a few pictures from Lihava. Unfortunately, I didn't get visa, and that's why I had no opportunity to see all of us, all of you in Cleveland. But it happens. So it's our Lihava graduation. One more picture from Lihava. And this is our project team from Lihava. There are three of us, Monica, me, and our girl, Diana. Together, we created our project Knesset game. You can see logo of our project here. So as Monica told you, the Knesset game is project about the parliament of Israel, Knesset, and the idea is like model United Nations, and it's intellectual games such as activity for those who are interested in politics, in economics, in learning how Knesset operates, and so on. It's also about communication. It's for those young adults who want to communicate to each other and to know something new about Knesset, about politics, about Jewish community, and so on. So this is picture of our first game. It was for children. And this is our first game for young adults. And this is one more picture for young adults. And I also must say that this project is very important part of my Jewish life. I don't know what to say else. That's all. I think that's all.
Thank you for sharing all of your pictures and all of your involvement in the Jewish community. I love seeing all of that. It's also interesting for me to see, like, once again, I know I keep bringing this up again, but even though we're like on different sides or different continents, we're still kind of all connected in our Judaism. So thank you for sharing that. Our last speaker today is Masha. Masha has been active in the Jewish community since the age of 10. And she attended Sunday school and then youth club and summer camps. And when she got older, she organized classes for Shabbats and different festivals. At the age of 17, Masha moved to St. Petersburg to study in university. And she's been leading Jewish educational projects for teens and young adults. Masha is a member of the Lamud organizational committee, and she is a Lehava graduate of 2013. Her Lehava project is Off-Fest that she has been successfully organizing since then every year, which is a youth eco camp. And every summer for 3 days, young people come to enjoy the atmosphere of discussion and relaxation at the nature environment, where there are workshops, lectures, and interactive events, which actually also has been organized in Finland and Estonia, Latvia, and in inspiring locations of Russia. For 6 years, the volunteer team has been organizing the experience to share Jewish viewpoints and discussing ecology subjects with the participants. Please help me in welcoming Masha to share a story.
Hi again. I hope that my presentation will be more successful than my game. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
And this, do you see these numbers?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Hi again, my name is Masha and I'm 29 years old. And I want you to share with you my story about my from beginning to this time. Let's go to the future, back to the future, to the 1992. It's me and my dad. I think I'm 1 year old, and I think it's the last time that I saw my dad. He is alive, but my parents decided to divorce, and I moved from Belarus to a little city in Russia. It's called Veliki Luki. In Russian, it's difficult to understand too. Why Veliki Luki? Great onions. It's really strange to hear. When I was 10 years old, like Rita said, I became to go to Sunday Jewish school. We learning Hebrew. We were singing Jewish songs. We were baking matzah with rabbi from Moscow because we don't have our own. We have really cozy and little community, and I think it was everywhere. But I understand that it worked only in a small town like Veliki Luki. When I grew up, when I was 14, I came to summer camp, and I decided I choose my own profession. In Russia, we have to decide when we are 17 what is our profession, and I think it's really hard for teenagers to think about what is your work for life. In Russia, it works like that. If you are choosing jurism, like Natasha, you have to be a jurist all your life. And thank you for summer camps that helped me to understand who I am. When I was 15 or 16, I don't remember exactly, we were moving to, it was like birthright, but for teenagers. And I understand that we have not only cozy community in Veliki Luki, bigger community in St. Petersburg, but we are in the same culture, the same language. This trip was my first trip by plane, and it helps me to understand the Jewish world more than little communities that I know, and we are bigger. When I was 18, I understand that it's a story about giving and receiving, and what I took from my childhood, from my counselors, camps, Sunday Jewish school, that I'm ready to share with children too. It's like because I believe that children, if you know more about Jewish life in your childhood, it's more organic way to know about yourself, about your identity, and I decided to be a counselor. Then I took part in Lichava program for 8 years. I made my own project. It's called, it's hard to pronounce, it's ecological camp. And we have our little cozy community too. We are talking about tikkun olam, ecology, Jewish way to Jewish traditions in ecological way. It's really good to be a participant, but it's really cool to be the organizer, that you can make your own project like you want it to be. And 2 years ago, we were in Cleveland, and I understand why we called Sister City. I really feel this connection because right now I see faces who I saw in Cleveland. I understand, last time I understand one simple thing. We were in Vice Camp, and it was rabbi speaking with children, with teenagers, and she says simple things like, you are special, you have your own mission. And I understand that I'm 27 years old, but I've never heard this thing that I'm special, that I have my own mission. And your children, your little Cleveland's, they know about it from their childhood. It's so cool. And one more thing, it's like a mirror right now, right here, because I saw you, and I will, just a second. You heard our stories. It's like mirror, if you will be here, if your parents decided to stay here, if your grandparents decided to stay here. It's really interesting how your life will be changed if something will be different, and everything the same with you, because if our parents decided to move to USA, what will be our life? It's like a little bit imagine, and I will be happy to see you in our city when borders will be open, and I will be happy if you share your stories like Rita did. It's really interesting for me too. Thank you.
Thank you, Masha. And thank you all for sharing your stories. Right now, we're going to open up for some Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can either raise your hand using the feature on Zoom, or you could type your question in the chat box or message us, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And while you're all thinking of some questions maybe on your end, I'll start off with one. So to all of our speakers, what do you wish you would have for the Jewish community in St. Petersburg?
Please, one more time.
What wish do you have for the Jewish community in St. Petersburg? Or I guess to open it up, where do you see the community in 10, 15 years, 20 years?
I think we are going to self-statement. I don't really know this word, when community can be yourself with money that we have. It's really big aim that I think I like to my community will be this way, self-esteem.
Self-sustaining.
Thank you.
I think that's the biggest challenges and problems in our community, but maybe after 10 years from this day, how pronounce this word?
Self-sustaining.
Yes, it's a new word for me today. Thank you. The main topics are how to survive on our own and stay at the same level as now, using our own resources with minimal financial assessment from our partners. At this point, I would like to thank you guys. Just Cleveland community helped us in many years. Thank you so much. One more question.
Another question from Henry. This is a good question. How many or what % of Jewish youth in Russia attend Jewish summer camps?
Masha, you know the answer? I don't know.
So
we discussed. Oh, Leonid knows better.
So what I would say is I don't know the percent. I know that there are still many Jews that do not attend Jewish summer camp, and And actually, Simon's story is I would say, the majority, where there are many people who whose families might know that they're Jewish, but their children don't know that they're Jewish. So part of the goal of many Jewish organizations is to try and bring forward people to feel comfortable. And often the first Jewish experience is summer camp. And there's also family camps, and there's winter camps and fall camps. There's a whole variety of camps, and many organizations do camps. There's a really great variety of them. But it's similar, I think, in our community. It's like the main gateway to Jewish life.
In Cleveland community, do you have online camps or not? It's just my question, because in last year we doesn't have offline camps, only online camps.
We did last summer. My daughter normally goes to the JCC camp over the summer, and last year they did everything online. So there weren't as many kids who participated, but so it was very, very personalized, because there were only, I think the biggest group was maybe 7 or 8 kids, and she loved it. And now she's even more excited to go back in person this summer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's more personal.
Any other questions?
I was about to type, but I'm just gonna ask.
Oh, yeah.
So that's for all of you. I'm hoping that's okay. It might be too harsh, so just feel free to say we don't want to respond or anything. But I'm just wondering, since I never got a chance to really have this discussion with you, and like a real discussion with East European Jews. I'm just wondering, you as as young Jewish people, did you ever? And I'm not sure how to say it, how to ask it, but because I can talk about it for hours, but did you ever feel differently just because you were Jews among your friends? Or did you ever felt, went through something anti-Semitic around your friends or just in your workplace or anything like that? I'm just wondering if it's happening.
In my childhood, when I went to Sunday school or Jewish camp, I said that I went to English club. I'm thinking that it's a better way to ask the question where I'm going. And once I think why I am lying, why I didn't say that I went to Jewish event, and I realized that we have domestic anti-Semitism. Domestic, it's like joking. It's not bullying or something more harsh. I don't know. It's like joking. You're Jewish. You have a big nose. In my school we have it.
Thank you, Masha. Thank you.
And just to add to that too, I went to college in a very, very small town in Ohio. So most of my college friends have never met anybody Jewish. So when I told them I was Jewish, they kind of honestly stayed away from me for a couple of days until they realized that I'm just like them. So whether you're in St. Petersburg or in Ohio, it's everywhere, and it's just up to us to really stop that to the best of our ability and educate people. It's pretty much the only thing that we can do. But thank you for sharing that, Masha. Just wanted to let you know that it's everywhere, unfortunately. But it's up to us to kind of set the standard.
I never too. Sometimes people around me see what kind of interest in my life and have and ask me how to become a Jew. Seriously, yeah.
Yes, in St. Petersburg, we have a little bit like to be Jewish is more interesting than to be just St. Petersburg, citizen of St. Petersburg.
It's like
But
cool to be Jewish in St. Petersburg.
yes, but it's cool when you talked with people with education, with knowledge, when you're talking about with people, with simple people, you have joking around.
I don't have a question. I just had a comment. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for sharing their stories. I know it's hard to speak for that long in English because I'm trying to think if I could present in Russian, and I don't know that it would go so well. And the thing that I kind of am taking away from it is when my parents left the former Soviet Union, and I was born here, and I've known since, you know, as long as I can remember that I'm Jewish, the one thing that they said when they came to the States is they wanted me to be proud that I'm Jewish, because they never felt that way when they grew up in Belarus and Minsk. And all I can see today is that you guys are all very proud to be Jewish and doing such amazing and important work to help the next generations to be proud that they're Jewish. And I guess a question that I have is, I wonder if children now are finding out sooner that they're Jewish, and all the work that you're doing is setting the foundation for them to also be proud. So thank you for sharing. Спасибо большое. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I think it's awesome. Also, hi, Monica, I didn't see you earlier, but when I was in St. Petersburg last year, or in 2019 in September, I underestimated how cold it was. So Monica took me shopping to get hat, gloves, scarf, sweaters, because I underpacked for the weather. So, привет.
Hi.
And my parents say hi also.
Thank you.
I have a question for Monica. I think you said that part of your family is from Georgia, and I don't remember where you said the other part of your family was from. Did you, from what they've told you, was it easier for the Georgian part of your family to retain their Jewish customs than the other part? At least what I've seen from the Georgians that I know, it seemed like it was somewhat easier, and they kept the traditions, and Soviet repression didn't hold them back maybe as much as Jews from Belarus or Ukraine or Moscow.
Thank you for your question. I'm sorry. I can't say that I was raised a Jewish girl. I say that my father's side is from Georgia, but my mom was a single mom, and my father left, and he lived in Tbilisi, but we doesn't had good relationship. But I have 7 aunts. It's my father's sisters, and we have absolutely lovely relationship, and they can't. Every time when I talk with my aunts and say that I'm Jewish, they all the time know you're Georgian and you're Orthodox in English. Orthodox? Yeah, when I told my Georgian half family that I'm Jewish, they can't bring that. They all the time told me, no, you're Georgian, you're not Jewish. This is strange, maybe. But I have a good life with my Jewish part family, and we don't have many relationship with my Georgian family. I'm sorry, maybe I don't, this is not understanding that I say. That's all. Sorry, John.
Don't be sorry. Thank you.
Any
Can I
other?
ask a question?
Yeah.
I have a question to Masha. Masha, when you was a child at school, you felt safe? I know it's a complicated question because there is a lot of things that can make you to feel unsafe for so many reasons. But because of the fact that you said that there was a kids that sometimes laugh at you or mentioned the fact that you're Jewish for some reason, you felt safe or?
It's really interesting question because people around didn't know that I'm Jewish. I just wanted to save it, and then I realized why I'm making it, because it was like atmosphere that it's not comfortable to say I'm Jewish. It's okay. It's like we are Jewish, and I'm not sure that it's okay for everybody. I save it for myself, like it's a little secret. Not everybody wants to know. But when in my class was two Jewish pupil student, me who from that situation I always said I'm Jewish, I'm going to Israel. It was strange too, but and second person who looks similar with Jewish, like I don't know. He has brown hair with curly brown hair, big nose, and he didn't say that he's Jewish at all. He never get part in our activities, and students making joke about him, not me. Just like you are not. You're not your looks not like us. You are different, and that's why we make jokes about you. It's like that.
Thank you. It was a choice for you to not tell anyone. It's something that you thought about before and like you decided I don't want people in my class will know about it.
Yes, I think it was like atmosphere that it's not okay to be Jewish because we all were Russian. We don't have random nationalities. Like we are all Russian. I'm alone a Jewish. It's not okay. It's like strange, and that's why I'm Russian too. But it was in my childhood. When I became older, I understand that it's okay to be different. Thanks, community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And just to add, YLD is here for all of you as Jewish Cleveland's hub for young Jewish adults. We want to connect young Jewish adults to other communities through social, volunteer leadership, and philanthropic opportunities. While we are creating different ways to do that with COVID-19, our mission stays the same. And if you want to learn more about YLD, please reach out to Leah Markowitz or Jack Fushman, and they will definitely direct you to where you guys need to be. And lastly, for those who could not make last week's session, we are excited to introduce our new shlicha, Aviv. Aviva will be arriving in Cleveland soon, and if you would like to meet her, reach out and Jack and Leah will help you connect. I just want to thank you all again for this great discussion.
Sorry, Henry wants to ask a question. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't see Henry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I just had a quick question. So it's not, being Jewish isn't just a religion. Like it's not like there are Christians and Jews in Russia, because it sounds like you're saying being Jewish sets you apart from being Russian. Wouldn't it be the same with being Christian?
It's really interesting question about Jewish and religion, because in Russia, from Soviet Union, it became Jewish. It's not religion. In all over the world, Jewish is religion, the first. In FSU, we have Jewish is tradition or Jewish is roots. You have to choose what you how you connect to Jewish in yourself. It's like not about religion at all. It's like we all Russian, we all Christian, but it's not true. All Russian, not all Christian. It's like really difficult to measure who are you? Who are you like your nationality? Who are you like your religion? Really many it's like a pie with different sections.
Thank you.
For me, it's not about only religion. I understand that if not religion, I think we will not sitting here and talking. But for me, my father is Jewish, and in St. Petersburg, it's like I have no opportunity to be a part of a religious community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, again for all the questions and for hopping in today. Does anyone have anything else to add before we conclude today's virtual travels?
I just had a quick question. Since all of you are younger or were born after the Soviet Union collapsed and it became all the different states and all the different countries, how do you think your parents' generation is scarred in a way and has a fear of following religion, whereas you have the freedom to choose to follow your beliefs and follow your heart and explore your heritage?
I try to answer if I understand correctly. I feel that people around are became more religious because we have really good Chabad community here. Chabad is working very good, and that's why it's like modern. It's interesting because Chabad is really very religious movement of a religion, but here in St. Petersburg, it's like super modern, super fashion, super cool to be in Chabad. But you know that not everybody can go to the Chabad because they have their own rules. And if you are part of Chabad, my friends named their children like Rivka, like Sarah, like Jewish names. It's really cool because we have all Masha, Natasha. It's like Russian names, but they try to name their children in Jewish way. It's so cool, it's so interesting. They make chuppahs. I took part several times. I saw Jewish chuppahs. It's really cool. But in opposite side, when your mother is not Jewish, it's like more traditional way. It's about me. I can go to the synagogue, for example, but I understand that I'm not so welcome there.
Eleni, did you have a couple of things to add before we end today's session?
Oh, sure. I am just thinking about what Masha just said. It's really confusing to sort of understand how, how do I put it, like just how complicated Russian Jewish identity is. And I thought, Henry, you asked a great question because there's a religion and then there's a nationality, and sort of, Masha's experience of not being fully accepted as somebody Jewish, even though, right, she lives her life in a very Jewish way. And right, Masha, if you lived in Cleveland, you wouldn't have that experience. So I feel like you really shared so deeply with us today, all four of you. And I really, first of all, just really want to thank you. And I loved also the questions you posed to us. And what I also wanted to say is I wanted to thank Lior Gersht, who has been our shlicha for the last, I had to think, over 2 years now, almost
2.5.
Yeah. And Lior has just been just amazing of bringing not only Israel into our community, but programs like this that are really centered on not just connecting Jews with Israel, but about connecting Jews with the larger movement of Jewish peoplehood. So I want to thank you again, Lior, for being spectacular and amazing. This is Lior's last official day with us. So it's hard for me to believe. And I also wanted to welcome Aviv, who is hopefully flying to Cleveland soon. It's like a trick. She doesn't know when they're going to let her leave the country because of COVID. But I really look forward to seeing all of you some more. So thank you very much. Thank you, Rita.
Thank you. And let's not end this conversation here. If anyone has any questions or want to get to know each other more, please feel free to reach out, to email us. It's very important. Our friends in St. Petersburg really started the groundwork to continue Jewish life, Jewish foundation, like Lisa said, for legacies to come. So it's very important. So I just want to make sure we're all connected and we're all here for each other. So thank you again, everybody, for this great discussion. And with that, we will see you all soon, hopefully.
Thank you
Have a
so
good day,
much.
guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.